In this video, we're going to look at another example of factoring using the AC method. So let's remember the first thing we need to do is look at our trinomial and be clear about what the values of A, B, and C are. So in this trinomial, A is 4, B is 37, and C is 9. Now you got to make sure this trinomial is in order. If you don't have your x squared term first, you definitely want to do that. For example, if the problem was given to you like this, 37x plus 9 plus 4x squared, you would want to rewrite it in order with your x squared term first, then your x term, then your 9 term. Rewrite it like this before you even start. Sometimes books or problems can be tricky like that. They'll throw one that's out of order and make sure you know you have to put it back in order. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we need to do is determine the value of A times C. So 4 times 9, which is 36. So we'll write that down. 36, we're going to make our little puzzle solving chart over here. Just like this red thing. This is kind of like your formula, this red thing. And we're going to create a similar diagram based on our particular problem. So A times C in our problem is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. And B is 37. So for this particular problem, we need to figure out two numbers that multiply to be 36 and add to be 37. So you could write out the things that multiply to be 36. You got 1 times 36. Well, there it is right there, right? 1 plus 36 is 37. And I'll tell you, if when you have all these as pluses, that means everything's going to be positive. We need to multiply to be a positive 36 and add to be a positive 37, so these two numbers have to be positive. If this number is 1 more than this number, if your B value is 1 more than your A times C value, then it's always going to be 1 times whatever your AC value is. So we kind of lucked out on that one. But, if you kept going here, you'd have 3 times 12 and 6 times 6 and 18 times 2, and none of those would have worked. We kind of stumbled on it here. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our next step, which is to rewrite our trinomial up here by splitting the middle term. So we're going to take this 37x, but we're not going to write 37x on the next line. We're going to write 1x plus 36x using our two numbers from the box over here. So the 4x squared comes down. The 37x is going to get split up, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, you could, if you had the 1 or the 36 first, you could have the 1x and then the 36x. It really wouldn't matter in this case. So I'll just do it plus x plus 36x plus 9. So in that step, we took our 37x and we split it up into 1x plus 36x, which is the same as 37x. And the reason we did that is so we could create 4 terms and create a factor by grouping problem. And now we just solve it like a factor by grouping problem. So 4x squared plus x, the greatest common factor of those first two terms is x. And when we take that out, we have 4x plus 1. And you could distribute this x to double check that. Plus, the greatest common factor of 36 and 9 would be 9. And then we'd have 4x plus 1. And luckily, we know we did this right because what's left in these parentheses is the same. And that should always happen when you're doing factor by grouping. If it doesn't, then that means one of two things. Number one, you could have made a mistake. Or number two, the trinomial is not factorable. It's one of those two things. So the first thing I would do is go back and make sure I didn't make a mistake. Okay, so last step, whatever was underlined here, whatever the common binomial is in these parentheses, we write that down just once. And then we write down whatever's left, whatever's not underlined, which is x plus 9. And we are done. If I'm on a test and I'm doing this and time is of the essence, I don't have a lot of time, I'm probably going on to the next problem. If I feel like I'm doing good with time, I have a little time, or it's the end of the test and I'm looking over my test, I'm going to check my answer. And the way we check it is by foiling it back together. So let's just do that. I think we have enough room here. So to check that, I'm going to do FOIL. And if I FOIL these two binomials together, I should end up with the original trinomial. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 9 is 36x. 1 times x is 1x, or just x. And 1 times 9 is 9. And then I can combine my middle terms. 36x plus 1x is 37x plus 9 is my original problem. So I feel good about that. That's right. And this will be my final answer.